Hi guys, in this video I go over the parts of a basic C program. Any command line program typically starts with a preprocessor directive. A preprocessor directive starts with the hashtag character followed by the name of the directive. In this case I use the include directive to bring in the contents of standard io.h. io stands for input and output, and the .h is a header file. And what this include directive will allow me is to bring in the functionality for outputting messages to the console and for reading user input from the console into the program. Next, I write the main function, int main, open close parentheses, followed by a code block. The code block is defined by an opening brace and a closing brace. And inside here, we write statements. Statements are instructions or commands to the computer that the computer will execute. The very last statement is return 0. Note the semicolon. Any statement you write will always end with a semicolon. Now, what is the main function for? The main function is the entry point to a C program. This is when we want to execute the program. This is where the execution starts. So it will start to find the main, and then the statement line by line, statement by statement, it will execute these commands. So let's write another statement. Let's use a statement that outputs a message to the console. This is called printf, open close parentheses, and to mark the end of a statement, again, a semicolon. Inside the parentheses, we can write some message in quotes, for example, hello. Now, when I run this program and click play, we can see it outputted the word hello to the command to the console. Now, I could also write a special character. Strings, there are some characters in the string that are special, for example, \n. This will add a line break to the string. So when running this again, we can see it outputted hello and it outputted an invisible line break character. Now this message here that is provided by Xcode will be in the new line. I could also add word, so it'll output hello world, and I add another line break character. Note that this text is in a single line, in a single statement in the program, but running this, it will output the text in two separate lines, hello and word. Now I can also use printf to write multiple statements. For example, how, and I do printf r and printf u. What will this do? Now this will output how are you in a single line. So let's run this. And here you can see how are you. There's no space, so the computer really follows the instructions verbatim. As you give the instructions, it will execute. Here it sees I want to output HOW, and that's it. So it outputted HOW. Then I tell the computer to output ARE, so it outputs ARE. The computer doesn't understand words, it doesn't understand English. It really just follows the instructions. If I want to have a space, I have to hit the space bar in between. When I run this again, now you can see it entered a space here. If I want to add a space here as well, and let's say a line break at the end, now you can see this is more readable, how are you? But the point here is that we can write text in a computer that gets output in multiple lines with a single statement, or we can output text with 3 separate statements that appears as a single line on the console. Now, this is the main function I mentioned already. The main function is the entry point to the program. Let's focus on the int part. The int represents integer, and this provides an exit code to the operating system. So when the operating system starts initiating the execution of this program, the program will run, and eventually it returns back an integer code, an exit code to the operating system. 0 stands for that this program ran successfully. We can see here the program ended with exit code 0. Now, if there's some kind of failure or the program crashed or something went wrong, I could exit the program with an execute code 2, and 2 typically represents that this program failed. So the operating system knows that it failed. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.